How's it going, guys? In today's video, we're actually going to be doing mapping these pellet grills here. I've already done it to both of these. This is a Weber Smokefire, and this is a Camp Chef Woodwind Wi-Fi edition here. I figured since I had some leftover supplies from my testing earlier this week that I'd go ahead and film the results for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and redo it. When I mean by mapping the grills, I'm referring to figuring out the hotter and the cooler spots of the grill, because every grill has hot spots and cool spots. Some grills are worse than others, you know. But the whole point of getting to know your grill is so you can properly place your guys' meat inside the pit, because you want to face the thicker cuts of meat on the hotter side of the grill versus the thinner side, so it cooks a little bit more evenly here. Sorry for that background chatter. It's my daughter playing over there in the garage. So, but for today's test, you're gonna either want biscuits or you're gonna want bread. I conduct both testing. You don't necessarily need to do it, but I like to do it at 225 with the biscuits and just let it ride through for about a half hour just to check the doughiness. It kind of gives me a better idea, because I do a lot of baking, so that's going to give me a general idea of how the pit performs at a lower temperature. For this video here, we're going to be using the bread at 350 degrees, and we're going to be placing it along the grates here. You're going to also need a spatula or something to flip over the bread, so when you flip it over, you can see your results. You can grab them by your hand, it shouldn't be too bad, but I just prefer to use a spatula. And then if you want the most accurate results possible, you're going to want a piece of cardboard. This isn't necessary, but for me, I prefer to use cardboard, because we're going to lay the pieces of bread across this. The size of the cardboard is going to dictate the size of your pit here, so obviously you want to make sure you're able to slide the cardboard in and out here. And then to slide the bread in. I prefer to do it this way because I want the most accurate result possible. It's not going to make a huge difference, but when you're doing it by hand, obviously if you put bread on this side and you're just moving your way across, well, this has been on longer, then vice versa. Then you can also, when you do your results, you could actually flip these and then go that way, you know. So, but either way, this is my preferred method. You can choose what you guys want to do. I already have these pits set at 350 degrees. Since I'm by myself here, I don't have anybody to help me. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just go ahead and do one at a time. For the first one, we're gonna do the Weber. So I'm not gonna film me putting the bread on, but I will film it after it's on and before I close the lid here. So just to show you what it looks like on the pit itself. So let me go ahead and rearrange my bread here, get it on the grill, and then we'll pick back up. All right, guys, I went ahead and placed the bread in here. I'll show you what we got here. Here's the bread all laid out as evenly as possible. I got 12 pieces of bread inside there. I went ahead and I forgot to mention we need a timer. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for, let's say, 8 minutes or so, and we're gonna let it ride through, see what it looks like on one end, and then after the 8 minutes have elapsed, then we'll flip everything over and view our results, and then we'll just go from there. All right, guys, it's been officially 8 minutes, so let's go ahead and flip these over here. All right, here is our results. It's hard to tell. What I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and take these off the grill, and I'm going to go ahead and set them on this little table here, and then we'll get a better look at them here. All right, guys, here's a better look at the results here. You can see on this Weber here, we got some light toast and dark toast here. Around the center here, it's really dark. These edges are kind of a little bit light, but this is what's surprising here is how light this is. That's where the vents in the back is on the grill itself. So whenever you're cooking your meat, it looks like we're going to be facing the thinner side along the back here, and the thicker towards this end and towards the middle, it looks like here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is we have this up to temp. We have it set at 350. We're rolling at 348 right now. So I'm going to conduct the exact same test on this one here. I'll show you how I lay it out here. This one's going to be a little bit different because this here we have flavorizer bars, so we don't actually have a drip tray here. So we didn't have to lay them out any sort of way, just as even as possible. Here we got a drip tray. We already know along the edges of the grill, I'll just show you here, along the edges of this grill here is exposed. So all these edges are going to be really, really hot compared to underneath the drip tray. So what I'm going to do is, to make this fair here, I'm going to lay the bread inside the drip tray and not on the outside, so we can get a better result. Look at that. And then as soon as I do that, I will just give you a quick little snapshot of what it looks like in the grill, and then we'll set the timer and go from there. Alright guys, I went ahead and set my timer here. I'm 7 seconds into it, but you can see how I rearranged the bread here over the drip tray here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this because I don't want to keep it open too long. So we're going to go ahead and wait for the timer to go off, and then we'll go ahead and flip it over, and then we'll see how this one performed. Alright guys, it's been officially 8 minutes, so let's go ahead and turn these here. This is what we're looking at here. Like I said, it's still kind of dark, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and take these out, and we're going to go ahead and lay them down here on the table so we can get a better view. Alright guys, I went ahead and set it on the table here and give you guys a quick little overview of what the results are for the camp chef here. You're going to notice this side here is a little darker, especially this half here. And the reason being is because you got to remember, this is up against the wall here on the barbecuer here. So when we flip these over, we kind of have to reverse these results along this here. And the reason why these are really, really dark here is when I was laying these down, I'll just show you, I didn't get it 100% directly over the tray. I kind of had it along the edge. Well, if you, hard to tell, you can see the drip tray ends right there, so that's why those ends are extremely dark compared to the rest of them. So, and you'll notice the same thing on these here, the tips. That's where they were along the edge, because when I laid them down, I put them a little overlapping on the edge, and when I tried to adjust them, they stuck to the grill, so I wasn't able to move them, so I left them as is. But like I mentioned before, the edges where the drip tray doesn't cover are going to be hotter. And then let's see here. And it looks like there is some slight variation from here. It looks like the cooler side here is on the left side of the grill, which would make sense because the smokestack is on the right side here, offset. But it isn't too bad. It isn't a huge difference. There is a noticeable difference, but not a huge one. And if we compare them to the Weber here, you can see where this didn't even get toasted. Only this barely got toasted on the tips here, and then it did just fine. Then it kind of got darker where the fire pot was here. And then these tips here didn't really do as well, so these corners are a little off. And you'll notice that this bread here toasted more than this here, even though they were on for the same amount of time. The reason being is because this controller here is actually a lot more accurate here. I don't have it on right now. I have a whole bunch of probes that I actually put throughout this pit just to test it. And this was off roughly about 5 to 10 degrees. Not all the time, it was pretty spot on, but when it did fluctuate, it was about 5 to 10 degrees. This one, on the other hand, didn't even move. It still said 350 degrees, and it got down to, 325, 330. That was that big of a difference. For some reason, it doesn't tell you when it's going up or down. Only when you keep the lid open for an extended amount of time, then it reflects in the controller. But if you're sitting there going and you don't have the lid open and it's just rocking through there, it doesn't tell you that it's adjusting. You would think, oh, it's maintaining temperature at 350 or vice versa, or whatever temperature without any fluctuation. That's awesome. Well, no, if you actually even if you put these probes in the pit and put it there, you'll notice the difference here. So, but I'll let you guys be the judge on which one you think. I was actually kind of surprised on how little this is, but actually I'm not, to be honest. these results are kind of dramatic here, but they're not as bad at lower temperatures. There's still a difference on the Weber, a little bit of a difference on the Camp Shift. That's why I believe that you should do the biscuit test at 225 for about, 25 to 30 minutes. That's going to give you a general idea. When I did my biscuit test here, I actually put them along the edges here, and I wanted to see how it rose if one was a little doughier than another, and they all cooked just fine. These obviously were a little bit darker here on the bottoms, but on the tops it was all uniform color. Here it was a little doughy on the corners or on the top. As you can see, it wasn't too bad to where it was a huge difference that it would concern me, but it was enough to notice. So, but all right guys, well, let me know if you guys do this on your grill, what kind of results you got, and just put it down in the comments below. All right, thanks for watching.